Yeah, I have 10 books of failures. If you don't deeply understand the problem to solve, it's difficult to have $1 billion idea. Okay, man, your idea means nothing without execution. Not being afraid of someone will steal my idea because many other people would be doing the same idea. You are not a genius. It's a mindset that we all as entrepreneurs have to change.
Roger, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Looking forward to kind of diving into all things bootstrapping, agency, and technical. But to kick off, for anyone who doesn't know you, can you just give a quick 30-second intro about yourself?
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm Roger Eintoss. I was born and raised in Buenos Aires, Argentina, in the south part of the world. I'm 36, dad of two, Homero of 5 years old and Kala, who is 2 years old. I'm a software engineer and I co-founded my company almost 13 years ago here in Buenos Aires. And across all of these years, we have been developing digital products, helping startups, companies to create digital products.
Perfect. I love it. I have a lot of friends that are both in Latin America as well as in the States that are agency owners and agency builders, kind of technical minds. There are a few different paths you can go. You can be the co-founder or you can be the agency creator. And so one of the things that I just want to just kick off with is when you can build software, everyone comes to you and says, "Oh, I have this great idea. I'll give you, 2% equity of my $1 billion idea." And so, I joke about that, but also there's a very real world of you could go co-found a technical company, or you could kind of do the service-based company, which you've bootstrapped and built successfully as well. But how do you make that decision as a technical person to be service side or kind of the tech entrepreneur side?
It's a good question. In my case, I started with a service company because I didn't have a clear idea about the problem to solve. I didn't know that back to that moment, but moving forward to today, I understand that if you don't deeply understand the problem to solve, it's difficult to have like $1 billion idea. So it's not about think, okay, if I create this idea, I will become a millionaire. It's the other way around. It's understanding, okay, I understand this problem because I have it, and that's why I'm the best person in the world for solving that problem, and I will use an app, technology, whatever, to solve that problem.
I think that's a good framing. It's coming up more and more with AI as well, I think, where people focus on the tool or the solution rather than the problem. And so if you're just kind of walking around the world and saying, I have this skill of building software, let me find something to build. Let me think of a product or an idea to build, rather than saying, what pain points are there? What problems are there? And then what is the right tool to solve it? Yes, software can be a really good tool to solve problems. It's very scalable. It's high upfront cost, but then infinite leverage long term. But unless you start with that foundational problem, I completely agree with you. You're kind of stuck if you're just looking for solutions to build rather than problems to solve.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it happened to me many times. like you said, friends saying, "Hey, I have this idea," or when I know that someone just sent me a WhatsApp saying me, "I need to talk to you about an idea that I have," I know that they want to be like the next Uber.
It's always the dream. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you've experienced this, so I'm curious on your perspective, but I've been in the agency custom software space for probably about 8 years. And I previously started an agency when I dropped out of college. So that was the first thing I did when I taught myself to program. But I've had two friends in the past 1 week come to me and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting an agency." And they specifically are coming out of the Silicon Valley venture-backed world. They've spent multiple years each respectively in that space. And they're saying, I'm done with venture capital. I just want to build a business that makes money, that just generates profit. And I think this is easier and better. So have you experienced people that kind of glamorize the agency life, and what do you recommend to them?
Yeah, it's more common to have people that that were born in the service company area and then they create a product. It's a kind of dream come true for every software development company. You know that starting like a software agency, but then just an idea magically come and you convert into a product company. But yes, I'm listening more and more people that come from VC world, maybe not trying to create service companies, but to create bootstrap companies, talking about revenue. And if you don't have revenue, you don't have company. So starting to talk about the healthy, or sorry, I'm talking about having a healthy company instead of having like a company that just needs to grow, and you don't know why or until when. So yeah, it's something that I think it started to happen after COVID or after the bubble explosion, maybe in 2022.
People got a little sober and said we need to build businesses that generate profit, not just businesses that grow and lose money.
Yeah, basically. I have a friend who says that
What's
now it's trendy to know how to earn money.
It is very trendy. It's funny, that's been pretty trendy for hundreds, thousands of years. But yeah, it's back in fashion, I guess.
Yeah.
What's it like building a bootstrap business for anyone who hasn't done it? And there's kind of multiple flavors, of course. There's kind of traditional, landscaping businesses. There is bootstrapping as a solo developer and building a software product and trying to get users and subscribers. And then there's this service space. So for anyone who is thinking about service and building an agency, can you paint any color or perspective? I mean, you've been doing this for a while. What's it look like to build from nothing, bootstrap from the ground up, a service-based company?
Well, the first thing is understanding which is the service or the area where you want to focus. I mean, if you are a good, for instance, in my case, a good designer or a good developer, or you are good hiring engineers or whatever, but deeply understand why are you the best person for this specific service. Not starting a company doing marketing, design, development, which is a thing that we did. That's why I'm telling don't do that. We started doing marketing, ads, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then we realized, okay, we don't know anything about marketing. Let's focus on engineering. We are software engineers. So that would be my first advice. Second, try to visualize and to plan the business model, but a real business model, because I have a friend who says that the Excel, the spreadsheet always compile like if it was code, because you always see the spreadsheets and it's amazing, and you see, oh, I can have 10 millions in revenue if I have 10 clients of this size. But then the reality shows you that it's not that way. So having like an expectation that is reasonable for a company that is starting, focusing on an industry, that's really important. If you have an industry, because you have been working, for instance, for your friends that have been working in VC, if they are specialized, I know, in healthcare, it's probably it would be better for them to create a service company based on healthcare, because they really understand the business, they understand the clients, they probably know or can discover different kind of pain points that clients in that space have. So it's always around focus, around understanding why you are the best for creating this service and for providing this service. And then starting, it's difficult to start because you have to find the first client. But the good thing is that you don't have to invest tons of money, because you have the first client, you hire the team, you execute, you make the shipping, the different deliveries, and then you start like getting the money back. So if you get the job done, you will earn the money and it start rolling and rolling, and then you hire someone else and someone else, and the snowball start growing.
I would say that the first client and maybe the second client might actually be easier, because I think if you set out to build an agency, maybe it's hard to go find that first client. But often I think agencies start because you have an opportunity sitting in front of you, which is this client. And it's like, hey, I guess I could build that, or I could bring my friends in to build that. So you kind of have that initial momentum and that first jumping off point. How do you get from there and say you do well on the first project and you bring in a first client or two, and it's kind of just momentum, and but then you wrap up those projects and then you say, oh shit, I gotta go find more business. What is that process to kind of get to the third client, the fourth and the fifth, and kind of keep going?
It's a good question, and it's weird because we faced that challenge 4 years ago, and we created the company 13 years ago. The thing is that our first client was from San Francisco, because I have a friend who, in those times, he was working for a company in Silicon Valley, and they needed a developer, and he told me, hey, Roger, do you want to provide us that developer? And I obviously say, of course, yes, I want. So we started, and after that, this client made an intro with another client and another. So we have never been forced to go to the street, to the outside world, and
to go hunt,
make the sales. Yeah, to go hunt. And even more during the COVID. During COVID, clients were everywhere. You know, those years, a lot of fundings. We have clients that came with $4 million, pre-seed $4 million, and they told us, hey, I need a team of, 5 developers. And we told them, no, you don't. You only need one. You have to create the MVP. You don't even have the idea. No, I want 5 because my investor says that I need to burn money to move to move fast. Okay, well, here you have your 5 developers. Obviously, all of them went out of business, sadly. But after that crash, we started thinking, okay, now we have to start. We need to start hunting. We have to go outside. We have to go abroad. We have to start networking. We should start talking with people and trying to get more and more clients. And that's one of the biggest fails I think we have ever made in our company. Starting to do that very, very late and not in the early times. Not being connected to the ecosystem, talking with other entrepreneurs, going to the States to find more clients, events, networking, partners. It's something that we are doing, but I think we started doing it really late. And we are paying because of that, because maybe we are, in those terms, we are going through that path today instead of doing it 10 years ago.
It's an interesting phenomenon, because I do think it happens more often than we think it should. This pattern of the expert at a skill has to get outside of their comfort zone, right? And so it's, you see it with management. So someone in a corporation, they're very good at marketing or whatever it is, right? And so they, get promoted to senior marketing manager, and then they get into more of that management track where they are teaching or overseeing other people. And it's now a different skill set. Yes, you still know marketing and you need to know it, but you're not doing the same day-to-day things that you're doing. And so you start expanding beyond that. Same thing with your business. And I think often with agencies, you start because you're good at the thing, right? And you stay in business because you're good at that thing. But then you do hit a certain point, I think generally speaking, where you run out of just like the magic of scale from network and referrals, and it's still there, but it's less predictable. And you have to say, oh shit, how do I become a salesperson? I still need to be good at technology. That's why people believe and trust and work with us. But then you expand beyond and you say, okay, well, now I need to get good at communication, marketing, promotion, figure out what sales is. And I know I've personally gone through that journey, and it's a slow, painful process. But I do think it's a common pattern that happens.
Yeah, and besides, you never know if the things that you're doing are in the right path or not, because you have to try and try and try, And the bad thing about that, at least for me, that you have to start dealing with frustration, is that you start testing some strategy. Let's say, okay, we will start testing inbound marketing, and you need a year, 2 years to understand if that's working or not, because our average time to close a deal is maybe 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. We have some that is in 1 month, but other ones that is a year and a half. So it's impossible to say, okay, because I've been doing inbound for 6 months, I didn't get any lead, this strategy out, it's not working. Maybe it's working, but you just need more time, and you have to deal with that anxiety. Even more me, that I'm an anxious person. So I have to deal with that, and it's like a personal work with yourself that you have to do, understanding that not every single thing is under your control. Many things are out of your control, and you have to deal with that. And it's part of being a CEO and founding a company, trying to make it grow. It's part of the game. If you are not ready to play that game, maybe you are a better person to go for a full-time job, and it's great too.
Yeah, there are definitely pros and cons to both. And I think you always glamorize the one that you're not in. Clearly, you guys are still here, though. So something's been working. What have you figured out, or what have you found out that is working from a business development and marketing perspective?
um, well, we have a partner in the States, living in the States, and from the sales point of view, that's really working. It's a person that I met 12 years ago, so we have like a long-term relationship, and we are still thinking about, okay, how we can keep transforming that role to be more and more involved in our company. And from the marketing point of view, we didn't get we get, or let's rephrase, we got some leads, but most of those leads are not like fully qualified. Maybe most of them are too early, or they are willing to contract maybe a fractional developer or a fractional CTO, and we only assign full-time engineers because of the way that we work. So we are starting to see some good signals from marketing, but I strongly believe that marketing for companies like Braintly, it's not about creating leads or generating leads. It's about awareness. It's about authority, and it's about that if I go to an event in the States, or business partner in the States meets someone, or this podcast or whatever, when they find us because someone recommended and say, hey, I the typical scenario is some entrepreneur who is meeting another one and says, I have problems with my dev team. So our client always says, hey, I will make you an intro with Roger. They are our development team in Argentina. You will be spending much less money. And that's how it starts. So I think that inbound, it's for that moment when they come back home and start Googling, okay, Roger, who is this guy from Argentina? Brainly, what did they do? And it's a kind of showing them that, okay, we are here. We have been doing this for 15 years. These are our clients. These are our case studies. But I think that they will not make the decision of buying us because of inbound. It will be part of
Yeah,
uh, the process, but the most important thing is that referral.
it's amazing how we live in this world with so much technology, so many tools, so much process. We're, you know, very evolved as a society, just globally speaking. And yet, so much of how we make decisions in business and otherwise come down to people you know and people you trust. It's incredible that even with all these automation tools and AI and everything, it still just comes down to relationships.
Yeah, and face-to-face interaction. It's not the same. I have clients that started working with us before COVID, and I met them for the very first time last year in a trip to the States. And the kind of, I don't know, the conversations that I had in a lunch for 2 hours, it's completely different to the relationship that I had before in a call. I don't know why. Well, I know it's because we are human beings and we are like preset for interact in person. But it's amazing, and I know that. But it's something that it's still like surprising me every time I go to the States and have lunch with a new client or like an historic client, and see how that like little thing, little magic happens. It's we're human beings.
We are, and there's so much of us that is still that primordial brain that knows, safety and danger, and I trust and not trust, and body language, and all of that.
Yeah.
If you were to advise someone, say someone comes up to you and says, "I'm going to start an agency. I want to tap into all the knowledge that you have." What would your advice be to someone starting out from all the failures, all the mistakes, all the learning that you've had over the years? Do you have a playbook?
Yeah, I have 10 books of failures. um, and oh, I have to prioritize in my mind. Definitely have good partners. Being alone, starting a company alone, it's tough, because during good times everything it's fine, but during the hard times, and every company will have hard times, and it's a mistake believing that that will never happen. It happened to us too. um, Having someone on your back, a good partner, is it's something that really makes the difference. The second thing, the thing that we have been talking, being focused and deeply understand what you are doing. And the third and last but not least, being connected. um, Not only for not to being alone when it comes to partners, but also with the ecosystem. I was telling you before we start that I joined this entrepreneurship organization network that it's worldwide, but it has the chapter here in Argentina. And for instance, we are a group of more than 100 entrepreneurs, but from those 100, there are maybe 10 or 12 agencies like mine, and we usually have dinner once a month or every 2 months, and we share a lot of common problems, success. We share, I know, rates like, hey, how much are you charging for an Node.js senior, and how much are you paying for this kind of employee? And we all vibe like the same, in the same level, and we all understand that we are here to help each other. And I will not go and find some employee for their companies, and I know that they won't do it with me. And having someone to just hang the phone or WhatsApp and say, hey, my friend, what do you think about that? How are you dealing with this or that? I know, how long is your regular contract? Are you doing stuff augmentation? How do you assign a project manager? Any kind of questions that, if you are only close to you or to your partners or to your team, you can see how others are doing things, and you can also share the things that you have been doing well. So being connected, talking, not being afraid of someone will steal my idea. This thing of many entrepreneurs that I many times talk, and the first thing that they tell me is, okay, I will make you sign an NDA. And I always think, okay, man, your idea means nothing without execution. And
Very much so.
if I'm the correct person, just like you, to execute this idea and make it and convert it into a unicorn, it's not that great, because many other people would be doing the same idea.
The mindset of the value of an idea, there's actually a really good blog post, maybe you've read it, from Derek Sivers, Sivers.org/multiply. But it talks about
Okay.
how an idea is basically worth between $1 to $20, right? So a crappy idea is worth $1, and the best idea in the world is worth $20. And then what you do is you take the execution against that idea and you multiply it. So amazing execution, right? Fantastic execution with a crappy idea still could be a $10 million business, right? Or, okay execution with an okay idea still could be, a $10 million or $100 million business. But the idea is just a multiplier of how good your execution is. And I think that framing has always been really helpful for me, because it highlights that, yeah, the idea has some value, right? It has some value of, if you're trying to solve Airbnb for cats versus, transporting people through excess supply of underutilized vehicles, i.e. Uber, right? Some of those ideas are better than others, right? The cat Airbnb is not that great of an idea. But even so, cat Airbnb could be a $10 million or $100 million business, maybe, with great execution. And so that framing, I think, is really helpful for people who overly value their idea and undervalue how much effort and experience and knowledge and sweat and tears go into actually turning it into something worth anything.
I love the case study of McDonald's. Imagine that McDonald's is not McDonald's thanks to they cook hamburgers. It's because of the process, because they understood that you want like fast food for pennies in those times. Now it's for some dollars, but it's not the idea, it's the execution. Obviously, it was a great idea, but without the execution, it's nothing. But well, it's something that when I mentor some entrepreneurs, I always tell them, let's stop thinking about the idea, start thinking about the problem. You need to solve the problem. If you solve a problem, ideas will come and money will come. If you're only focused on doing money, just go to regular job or create, I don't know, a service agency that, okay, if I sell, I will make money. It's not for you creating a product, because it's tough.
It's very tough. It's very tough, and it's tough to do, let alone be successful at doing it, let alone
Yeah,
in a time horizon that makes sense.
absolutely.
You mentioned also the importance of network. And I think that's something that's underappreciated. We all know the value of having a network from a sales perspective, but you were specifically talking about peers and other agencies that you share with. How do you get to the mindset? Because I do think it's a mindset of being comfortable sharing. And I think it's one thing about sharing your idea. I'm personally very comfortable when I give the same advice of, your idea is probably worth shit. Like, don't overvalue your idea. But when you have a service agency, it's a little bit different, because in theory, you're competing for resources, right? Talent locally. You're competing for clients, right? Because you're Latin American, you're based in Argentina, and even if you're kind of swapping notes on rates, you're working directly with your competition. So how do you foster that mindset or shift your mindset to say, no, this is we're all out to help each other. This is actually a positive thing, both for me and for others.
I put like in the balance to understand, okay, this like a benefit for me and for them, and how big is the market? I mean, the massive opportunity that companies in Latin America, or specifically in the States, have coming to Latin America to hire the development teams, creates like a market big enough for all of us, for them, for me, for the other one. So I prefer to have them next to me, and me being next to them, helping each other, understanding that there is market enough for everyone. And besides, some of them started like focusing on different industries. I know I have a friend who is working only with development tools. We are focusing more on staffing. Another one that is focusing on wellness. So if I go to the States and I meet someone that wants to create a marketing site uh, using developer tools, I won't do that job because I'm not the best for doing that job. I will make an intro with my friend and I will say, "Hey, I know him. He's a colleague. He's also an engineer. He also runs an amazing software development company. He's your man." But if you want staffing and you want to create your team in Latin America, I'm your man. So we all can empower each other. It's a mindset. It's something that I always thought that way. I think that being competitive in a good way, in a healthy way, make us grow, and it's the best way of growing. Because otherwise, if you are only just enclosed in your office, in your home, not talking with nobody, and trying to steal some information, like if you were, I know, a rat, uh, it's impossible to grow, and you can't connect, you can't truly connect with people if you are always trying to get the most from the other. It's difficult to deeply and truly connect. I always try to help first, try to create like a real connection. I want to be your friend, or whenever you call it. I want to be talking with you because I'm really interested in the things that you are doing, and I also want to tell you what I'm doing. And I know that if I can help you, I will do it. And you know that if you can help me, you will do it too. So that's how it works. If it's not, if it's like a both side road, it's one
Yeah,
and other
it's
way.
not a zero sum game, but it's a positive sum game where both sides grow rather than
Yeah.
winner take all kind of. Yeah. So one comment and then one question. The comment is the added benefit too of knowing Braintly is very good at staffing, but isn't good at developer tool websites. Is if you make a genuine referral to your friend, both it creates value for your friend, right? The agency that focuses on that, but also goes a long way to establish trust. Because if you can willingly say, "Hey, we're not good at this. Don't hire us for this. Like this is maybe someone you should talk to that can be helpful." That is very helpful, even from a sales perspective, of establishing that trust. Maybe that one person doesn't work with you. Maybe they refer you to someone else, but it helps build that relationship because it shows that you're not just trying to grab revenue and
Sell
clients and just
things.
say yes,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Yes, exactly. The question that I have for you though is you said that you did try to do marketing services in the past, and so what was that about? Was that kind of just, oh, revenue opportunity, let's go try doing that, and then you realize the error of your ways, or what kind of motivated that decision and then also the killing off of that service line?
I think it was like a junior mistake. Uh, we started trying to make money as possible, and in the company that I met Faku, my co-founder, he used to be like the chief of infrastructure, and I used to be the chief of digital product development and marketing. So I, I am an engineer, but it was straightforward to think, okay, if we sell a website to someone, then they will need like ads or something like that. So and I know how to do ads, so I will help them with that. But then we realized that we didn't know anything about advertising, and if you want to be good at advertising, you have to be like really on that because it's a wall. So it was more like a junior mistake than a decision to
kind of
be
getting
true.
started and learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Final question here. In terms of the current industry, you see a lot of digital transformation. You build teams, you build software for startups and enterprises. We've gone through this period. We talked about the 2020 to 2022 bubble and frothy and COVID money and all this kind of stuff. But now we're in a bit more of a refined period. Maybe that's not quite the right word, but a slower, more intentional build phase, right? Where both enterprises and startups are kind of raising the bar in terms of if they're going to build something or not. Do you have any insights or recommendations for maybe just kind of analysis of what the market is doing for where dollars are currently going for software development and digital transformation projects?
AI, it's probably the first answer.
The easy, obvious answer.
And they chose the answer. Yeah. I was reading the other day the Carta report, and 50%, 51% of the investments happened in California. And most of those investments were in software as a service and healthcare. So I think that after COVID, healthcare started growing. People changed the way they see life. I don't know if it's because many of us were so close to the death of COVID, or maybe because like a relative, but healthcare it's growing and growing and growing. And I think that VC money is going more for startups that already has some revenue, and they are not going anymore for just burn money to test an idea. That's the most important thing that changed after this crisis. That company investors, when it comes to VC world, and business owners, when it comes to bootstrap companies, are not willing to waste money anymore. So they pick better the kind of trips where they go, the kind of events. They started nearshoring or offshoring in Philippines or Latin America or wherever, because they realized that, okay, with this new situation of working remote, if I can work with someone in the States, which is in the other coast, why I can't work with someone in Argentina, for instance? So that was really beneficial for us, obviously. But I think that the regular rule, the normal rule, is that they are becoming more and more efficient when it comes to spending money and choosing where they put the money. And with AI, the simple question, the simple answer, with AI, I think most of the startups that are creating right now using AI, they are using AI tools. They are not creating AI. But for instance, in our case, we are using AI for our clients to improve the development process. So we have made some tests where we did the same piece of code or the same feature for one developer and for another developer with the same seniority. One of them, for instance,
using a split test between with AI versus test. Without.
Yeah, using Copilot, and the other one only using Google, like in the old times, so 6 months ago. And the results are astonishing. So it's 50 or 60% faster. So that's why I always say that I don't think that AI will replace developers, but as a developer, as an engineer, you will have to embrace AI, because coming back to the main question, VCs or companies in general wants to spend less money. So AI is the main partner for spending less money. Not necessarily creating AI apps, but using AI to be more efficient. So you don't necessarily need to fire 50% of your team, but maybe with the same team, you can make 2x the features, or you can grow faster. So the things that are happening with AI and in this world after COVID are fascinating.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I like the frame too, which I think is often forgotten. Not forgotten, but I think there's overly fixation. People overly fixate on taking AI and cutting jobs, right? So it's going to remove people. It's going to, if you're twice as efficient, then you need half as many people. But I think what we've seen from technology for basically since the dawn of time with technology is, yes, there's some transition, and yes, maybe some people do have negative impacts, but generally speaking, it means you can just do even more. So we're going to have better user experiences, or we're going to have more. I predict that we're going to have an explosion of startups, because you will be able to, rather than, say that there are 2 million engineers in the US. I have no idea what the number is, but say there are 2 million engineers and it takes 5 engineers 1 year to build a product. These are all made up numbers. So you have whatever that math would be, right? You have, I don't know, 40,000,
Yeah,
if my math is right, startups. Well, if you can now do it with half as many resources, then you'll have double as many startups, right? So it's just going to create even more products solving more problems, and it's going to improve quality of life across the board. So I like the positive reframe. I think you're in the AI optimist train, just like me. So I appreciate your perspective there.
yeah. I mean, it's something that it's happening.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, it's happening. It's definitely happening.
Yeah, it's happening. You have to understand that it's a reality, and you must like evolve your job description to work with AI, because otherwise you will be fired. But it's like I would say that it's like thinking that when Microsoft launched the Excel, accountant were gonna to disappear. No, but if you if you used to be an accountant in those times and you don't want to learn how to use the Excel, you will disappear, because in a couple
Yeah.
of years, someone who doesn't understand how to use ChatGPT probably will be an alphabet.
Yep.
And
Very, very accurate.
yeah, this doesn't mean that they have to understand how to set up like an agent. At least maybe just, I mean, I have lots of friends that are not engineers, and I always tell them, hey, are you using ChatGPT for your daily work? No. Why? How can ChatGPT help me? And when I show them like a regular case study, like, hey, please help me answer this email, and they see the results, they can't believe it. And for us, as a technical guys, it's obviously.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think a lot of the change that comes with new technology is making sure you have enough exposure to it so that you start building a habit or a relationship with it. And so when ChatGPT came out, I intentionally tried to use it every single day, even if I didn't quite feel like if it made sense, or I could just Google it. But it's just that exposure to new technology that forces you to learn, stretches your brain, and then, oh, 6 months go by and it gets better, and you get better at using it or knowing how to use it, and you're already ahead of people who are just thinking about use cases now. So I think leveraging and using new technology that you think is going to stick around both keeps you sharp, but also helps you grow and become better at what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roger, this has been wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you all for the insights and the vulnerability and sharing about your business and the struggles. Sounds like you guys are doing extremely well now. So if people want to connect with you, learn more about Braintly, or talk with you, where should they go?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. If you find my name, I think that it will be in the episode title or subtitle. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm really active on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter. My tag is R Eintoss. it will be easier. My surname is complicated, so it's difficult
It'll be on the show notes.
to spell. Yeah. And also in our webpage, which is braintly.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Great to talk.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this.